Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Galen Snyder Show. I'm Vince Reed, along with our engineer, Mike Samsel. We're brought to you by Aria Health, your friends here in Lower Bucks County. They bring you the show each and every week, and we're going to get a chance to talk about the first football game that was played over the weekend, as Pennsbury was in a good tussle with Easton, ended up losing that one, but put on a pretty good performance when you look at them. They had the lead at halftime against this team. And I would imagine maybe you're thinking, and we talked a little bit before we got on the air, that this was a good performance by your team when you consider taking on this Easton Ball Club in the first game.
I believe it was. We didn't exactly know what to expect with a team that replaced a lot of seniors from last year, and so we weren't sure what to expect. I mean, I felt like we could move the ball, but against Easton, but you never really know until you get out there and you don't know how many points you can put up. So, we had said before the game would probably take us 4 touchdowns to win. We got the 4 touchdowns, but we didn't end up with a win.
Well, one of the things you had to be happy about, the first game of the year, and you've played this team now, you know how tough they are year in and year out, and they're so set to go with that first ball game. This was going to be the last time you played them for a while at least, because of the fact that, you've had that home and away series, but next year a different alignment, different people will be coming on for you. But when you look at it, the first half of this ball game, you got 4 touchdowns on this Easton Ball Club. And certainly with the young guys you have on this team, in particular on defense, you had to be happy with the fact that you had the lead going into halftime on them by a touchdown.
Well, I probably the good part about it for us was, there was an opportunity to, there was a chance there when we were down. We were down 21-7, and they were driving the ball, about to make it 28-7. But our guys responded, and we got a turnover, and then we capitalized on that. And, we kept it going. So I think that that was a real good sign, that our boys, weren't going to just roll over in that type of situation. They're going to fight back, and even though we came up short, that type of mentality, if you carry it on, should pay dividends throughout the season.
I know one of the things, the big concern for you this year is the fact that you got such a young group when it comes to defense, and you were minus a couple of guys too, which certainly could have helped as well on the defensive side of the ball. But tell us a little bit about your thoughts, for the entire ball game as far as that goes, as the defense played in this contest.
Well, it didn't start out too good. We gave up 21 points right there in the first quarter, and their running back, he's awful good, but he was running up and down the field on us, and so it wasn't looking too good. But he fortunately helped us. He got a little tired. I guess he was running a full track meet there in the first quarter, and then we had a little talk with the boys on defense, and they stepped it up. They definitely stepped it up and played much better the last 3 quarters of the game. So now we got to realize that, hey, we can do it. We can do the job there on the defensive side, and carry that over to this week's game.
What's the biggest thing you look to get out of that? You're young. The defense is practically all brand new. What's the biggest thing you're looking for in a ball game like this against such a tough ball club in your defense, trying to see if it matures right away?
Well, like I said, the big thing is, are they going to battle there? I think that our guys are doing a pretty good job for the most part, lining up correctly, carrying out whatever signals are sent into them, whatever defenses are sent to them. They're doing a pretty good job running to the football, and of course we got smashed, ran them out there early on, so the last part is you want to make sure that you respond.
When you look at it, and we take a look at the first ball game of the year, you got some real nice numbers when it comes to some of the guys in the backfield who were playing well, which we thought was going to be the case. Ronquay Smith gave you, some real good hits. And I think really he might be the smallest fullback we're going to see this year anywhere around. But boy, he packs a punch, and he's got the speed, and he wants the ball, and he doesn't mind going up the middle.
Yeah, well, again, in the wing T, your fullback isn't a traditional fullback like QB in other offenses, in an I offense. I mean, a fullback in wing T he's a guy who runs the ball. He's kind of a guy who's in between a fullback and a tailback. It's his responsibility to carry a he's got to be a good inside runner, much like a fullback might be. But on the other hand, he's got to be quick, and he's got to be a guy who should be your leading carrier.
I think one of the things, Coach, you had to be happy about too in this ball game, when you think about it, we talk about him, we talk about the likes of Raheem Thompson with that long 93-yard run for a touchdown, and everybody else in the backfield. But, you get 28 points in the first half of play. That said something for that line and what they're doing.
Yeah, they definitely, the line played very well, especially early on. I think we might have ran out of steam a little bit in the second half. I think we're on such a pace to get back into the game. We really played hard. This was the first game that first time we went 4 quarters, and you and I were talking, and it was a battle out there. It wasn't, the typical first game. I mean, some teams have, some games they can kind of ease themselves into, aren't exactly playing at a high intensity level. But our game, that was, the intensity level was playoff level for game 1. And it's tough early on with that kind of heat to keep that up. And, that's no excuse, obviously Easton did what they had to do to pull the game out. But overall, we made some mistakes, but overall we're encouraged by what we saw.
Overall, what would you say, what you have to say to the kids when it came down to looking at the game, and probably after you looked at the film of this and see exactly how they performed in this first game of the year?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of positives you can look at, and there's also a lot of areas that need improvement. The biggest one is consistency for 4 quarters. That's something we got to work on. We got to come right out of the gate ready to play, and then we got to maintain that for 4 quarters. And, we didn't do that. We battled back. We showed some heart, but we have to get to that next level of development where we go 4 quarters, and that usually comes with some game experience.
Of the guys that you had coming back that were in, as far as that goes, the defensive side of the ball, who do you think you count on to be the guys to say, hey, they'll be the leaders for this defense and show them the way?
Well, I mean, a guy like Brendan Campbell was a starter last year. He's a senior. Makes a lot of calls in the secondary. Victor Iturbdes, Victor Delgado, Victor Delgado, who started for us last year as a sophomore, and Victor, he makes a lot of plays. He's probably one of our most physical players on either side of the ball, even though he's not the biggest player. So we rely on Victor to make big plays. And he did, by the way. He did. He came up with some fumble recoveries for us, 2 of them, as a matter of fact. So we count on Vic. And there's a lot of other players. Up front, we have the 2 seniors in Burt Robinson and also Mata Jajua. And those 2 are our 2 bigger linemen up front, and guys who are more developed in the weight room. That's such a thing, good athletes. So we rely on those guys.
And also Breon Clark, he had himself a couple of passes that were really sharp and right on the money there. One, of course, got him big yardage. I'm sure you're looking for him and the entire team when it comes to throwing the ball to get even in sync as they go along this season.
Yeah, I believe we will. We saw some good things as far as continuity went, ball handling. We've showed up first game of the season. We've had issues before with just taking snaps and handoffs and not putting the ball on the ground and things like that. All that was taken care of. Graham did a nice job with that. He also was productive running the ball. And, we completed a couple passes. There were a couple more there that, we could have had.
Yeah, almost.
And we had 1 touchdown pass call back. So we're going to get better at that. And, I think you'll even see an improvement this week.
All right, we're going to be talking a little bit about the upcoming bowl game that's going to be coming up for you. And of course, we're being brought to you by Aria Health, your neighbors here and friends in Lower Bucks County. Aria Health, of course, helps you do the job that you need when you need them. And you know that sometime or other, you're going to be needing their services. And really, they're right there for you. They perform extremely well. They're at the highest intensity all the time. They're always ready for anything that happens. So if anything happens around you, make sure you go to Aria Health. They'll take care of any situation.
At an orthopedic institute, world-class specialists, surgeons, and technology are a must. Personal care is too. The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City, Bucks County, and South Jersey. With over a century of experience, the 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For joint replacement, sports medicine, spine care, and more, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
Well, we're going to be talking about the team that you're going to be playing this weekend, Coach, and it's going to be, a chance to go down. We went down to Frankfurt once when this series first started. Thankfully, I might say that we were playing back here for a while, but we're going to have to make that trip up the ladder again and and call the ball game from beyond the end zone. But really, when you take a look at it, this has been a really good series, too, for you. I think really picking up the people that you picked up in the preseason and stayed with have given you a lot to where you can really improve on, because you're playing tough competition each and every week. Frankfurt had a game with Downingtown East, and as you mentioned, you were there, and 27-14, not a bad performance by them in the opening ball game of the year against that team either. And this should be a